apparently we are live now, and I have no idea why we're having this weird delay. In fact, I have no idea what's going on with this whole Facebook change as it is. Anyway, I'm Sarah Gaston here. Forgive me for the technical weirdness that is happening, but it appears to be beyond my control in the moment. So I wanted to get to you guys as soon as I could, so thank you for bearing with. I have a lot of content to share with you today. I have some questions that people have sent me throughout the past week, and I, of course, am always here to answer your questions live. So I want to get started. By the way, side note, I'm starting to feel when I do these Facebook Lives a little like I should do something like Seth Meyers and Steve Carell and make some, wise crack about what's going on in the world, but that's not why we're here. Okay, great. So, hello, Joseph Jones. Thank you for joining us. Okay, the first question today comes from Christina, and she asks the following. Hey, is there anything really in production out there right now? After watching you and other coaches several times, I'm really eager and want to get my game on, even if it means a short film for now. I haven't been in front of the camera as more than an extra in 3 years. What happened to all the local film festivals? Okay, that's quite a loaded question. As far as the film festivals, I can't really answer that question. Film festivals come and go for a few reasons. First of all, sometimes there's just not an interest in participating. So without the funding that film festivals get from entry fees, typically they can't afford to keep running. And second, sometimes the creators just get bored of running them. It might have been a fun concept and maybe they did it for a couple of years and then they decided they didn't feel like doing it anymore. But there are plenty around, so just because they kind of morph and change shape and become something new, or because, old ones die off and new ones replace them, trust me, there are plenty of film festivals around. As far as specific ones in our world that have gone away, I would go find the creators on Facebook and say, hey, why aren't you doing Splatterfest anymore? Find out. So anyway, that's the first part of the question. Actually, it's the second part of the question, but it was the easiest to answer. So as far as what's going on right now, things are very, very slowly opening back up. Hollywood has been given the go-ahead to start on June 12th. They're allowed to go back into production. That doesn't mean they're going back into production. And different markets are going to have different opening up periods depending on their local and state government, okay? There are quite a few restrictions. If you are on my email list, I actually just sent something out this week that talks about some of the guidelines that are being put in place and that are being asked to put into place. So that's something that you want to find out more about. That's a perk of being on my email list, because you find out stuff that you're not going to find out on Facebook Live and that you're not going to find out in my videos probably. The other piece of that, though, is there is a big debate being waged right now about having actors sign COVID-19 release forms. And basically what that means is I can go on production and I'm not going to hold the production liable if I get COVID-19. So there are people who are saying, leave it up to the actor takes their chances, and there are people saying actors say no, right? So that is going to be, that's just going to be a concern, probably for a while. The other piece of that is because of all the new protocols being put into place, productions costs are going to go up. One of the statistics that I read was about 20%, which means if the production cost goes up, and they're having to be very, very careful about social distancing, that's going to limit the number of people that they can have on set, right? So we're probably not going to have background for a while. We're probably going to have fewer day players, fewer supporting roles, just because they need to minimize how many people they have on set. Hi, Mike Fleming. So that's part B. The third part is, and I've heard this echoed in a number of voices actually quite recently, and that is create your own content, right? Seth Godin, who is a very prolific author, wrote a book called This Is Marketing. And he talks about the fact that we are wasting the chance of a lifetime because we have more of a reach than we have ever had in the history of our species. You can get on TikTok, you can get on Instagram, you can get on YouTube. You know, there's so many platforms for you to let your content be seen and heard and shared. And so my friend Amaris put it really well. Creators need to create, right? So actors are notoriously lazy. We kind of want to sit by the phone and wait for the agent to call us or wait for somebody to come find us or wait for the perfect audition to be sent to us. But the truth is, you know, there's a reason your agent only gets 10% or 20% because you're in charge of your career. You're in charge of who you are as an artist, right? So get with some friends and write a script or commission a script or do a short film that you can do on your own or at a safe social distance. Create sketch characters that you can put out there. Write monologues and create, you know, little scenes from a film that you want to one day make or a play that you want to one day produce and star in, because you have that opportunity. And the quicker that actors get out of the mindset of sitting around waiting for someone to call them and offer them a job, just you're going to have more to offer as an artist and just as a creator, as a human being, really. I've been taking some online courses with the Groundlings and who I have done a lot of work with in Los Angeles, and Melissa McCarthy and Ben Falcone were saying this on a webinar, you know, like get your people together and make some stuff. Just keep making stuff, just keep making stuff, just keep making stuff. And you know what? She's a movie star, and guess what? They're still making stuff. They write stuff, they produce stuff. Sometimes he directs, sometimes she directs. They're still making their own stuff, all right? So don't have this idea that there's anything wrong with it or it in some way means you're not hireable. It just means that you're being self-directed in your career. Reese Witherspoon is another example. I was reading an article on her in the Hollywood Reporter, and she was talking about, she was looking around and going, where are the interesting stories for women that I want to tell? And she wasn't seeing them. So she started a few different production companies, started buying up book rights, started producing her own content, right? Big Little Lies, that was partly her, all right? And gosh, hugely successful, hugely popular, huge in the awards front in terms of really being recognized for quality work. So do your own stuff. All right, let's see how we're doing. Okay. The crab was cute. Okay, fantastic. I'm glad people like my crab. Let's see. Hello, Sarah. Quick question. No, we'll skip that question. That was a personal question for me. On my resume, for our commercial list, we must say conflicts available upon request. What does this separate commercial list look like? Does it need to be formatted in a specific way? Fantastic question. I actually just talked about this to somebody in a private lesson yesterday. So commercials upon request or conflicts available on request is for somebody who actually has done multiple commercials, right? Because the concern there is actually a commercial conflict, right? So if I did a Whataburger commercial, say, and I get called in for a Burger King commercial, then I am contractually not allowed to represent both. It is a conflict of interest. Hopefully you're keeping an eye on that, and hopefully your agent is keeping an eye on it. Sometimes things fall through the cracks. Sometimes you're in a commercial, it runs for a while, and then it goes away, and then you find out later it resurfaced again, okay? That happens sometimes with buyouts, something that's like a one-year buyout. It happens with SAG commercials as well. But the thing that you need to do is be aware of what you have running and when, so that you don't accidentally audition for another role or worse yet, accept another role, because it will come back to bite you. Here's the thing, don't put that on your resume unless you have some commercials to actually list there, right? Now, if you have that list, you would just format them just the way you would format your regular resume when you're listing your credits. I have never had, I'm not saying this won't happen, but I've never had somebody say, hey, can you hand me that list of commercials that you've done? In fact, I don't keep track of them anymore. I've done plenty, and I just don't. I mean, I keep track of what's running so that I know if I have a conflict. But the concern is more, is there a product conflict currently? And, you know, after you have a certain amount of credits on your resume, you don't want to bloat it with commercials if you really, if you have several television credits, theater credits, or film credits, okay? So that's when you kind of look at that, you know, commercials available upon request heading in your resume. Great question. How do you hide a lavalier lapel mic in a self-tape? Well, it kind of depends. Now, I have mine hidden down here. It is sort of taped to or clipped to my bra. So you can clip it to your bra in some way. There is surgical tape that you can buy at CVS. You can tape it to yourself. That's usually the best place for a woman. I don't think it's a terribly big deal to just have it kind of clipped to your collar and maybe, you know, maybe showing a little bit in an audition tape. That's just my opinion, but yes, you can skillfully hide it pretty easily. Hello, Ellie. Good day to you, madam, my lady. There, I'm doffing my hat. I'm doffing my fedora to Ellie. By the way, guys, feel free to ask your questions. Let's see. What are good places to live in Los Angeles as a new actor? Well, nowhere right now because Los Angeles is a mess. But I know you're talking about the future, my dear. Okay, so I like North Hollywood a lot. I like Burbank a lot. That is my favorite part of Los Angeles, okay, for a few reasons. First of all, it's not as crowded. Right. When you get into Hollywood, like the heart of LA and Hollywood, people are just on top of each other. I like a little space. I grew up in Texas, okay, and I was born in Colorado, right? So wide open spaces are sort of my jam. So you have a little bit more room to spread out and breathe and not, you know, inhale secondary marijuana smoke all the time, which is you can't avoid if you're in Hollywood. So that's why I like the Valley. It also is where quite a few of the studios are located, and it's also, in LA terms, relatively close to Hollywood and West Hollywood, where a lot of auditions take place. But some people are beach people, right? If you're a beach person, Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey, Santa Monica, those are all fantastic places. I'm more of a mountains person, so for me, being in Burbank or North Hollywood, the mountains are right there. You know, 8-minute drive, I can make it up to the Castaway, which is this fabulous restaurant that overlooks LA, like up on a mountainside above this golf course. It's like in a state park. It's fabulous. So anyway, that's what I like. So it's really, it's kind of your preference. Silver Lake is also a place that people like, because it's kind of hipster, it's kind of gentrified, and people enjoy living there. People like living in Glendale as well. Again, that's in the Valley, but people tend to feel a little bit, I think, a little bit safer when they're not in LA Central. And Glendale, again, is there's just a little more room. It's a nice place. So those are the places I would recommend in Los Angeles. Okay, checking. Thank you, Ellen. Good day to you. All right. Please, I'm waiting for your questions. This is all for you, my friends. Oh my God, it's like that terrible line from The Omen, that creepy nanny. Damien, I did it all for you, before she jumps. Anyway, terrifying. All right. So I'm just going to address something that I get asked a lot. Nobody particularly asked this question recently, but I think it's a good time to bring it up. People have a fantasy, it's a very pervasive fantasy, about what it is to be a working actor. I've addressed this before, so if you're hearing this for a second time, forgive. The statistics are, they fluctuate a little bit, but the statistics are that around 2% of actors actually make a living. All right. And I can't be quite sure if that statistic is strictly for Screen Actor Guild actors or that's like all actors, including journeyman actors who are non-union. And at any given time, an actor is out of work. 90% of actors are out of work. So what that means is today I am out of work. Friday, I was not out of work because I was on a job. Okay, yay! So I was employed for a day, right? It's very possible Chris Pratt is unemployed right now. Now he's got a little bit of money saved up from his franchises, right? But it's very possible he's out of work right now. And all that means is he's just not currently on a project and getting paid for it. So we have this idea that, I'm going to work at this for a year or two, or maybe 5 years, and then I'm going to be a full-time actor and I don't have to do anything else. Let me speak to you about the danger of that. There is, first of all, a large danger that you'll get fed up, disappointed, and burned out, and you'll just quit. And then you'll never, ever have this like piece of yourself that you get to express, which I think ultimately can be extraordinarily tragic for people. I've seen it firsthand when they decide to give it up because it's become an all or nothing proposition for them. Okay, and the other piece of it is that you run the risk of becoming desperate for work, which means you no longer become discerning about the work, which means you might accept a job for less pay than you think you deserve, or it's a role you're not crazy about, or it's with an outfit that you don't have a lot of faith in, but you need that money, so you're going to take that job because you're a full-time actor and that's what you signed up for. So there's that danger. And the third danger is people sense desperation, okay? They can smell it on you. And when you're that actor that vocalizes, man, I got to start booking soon. Man, I got to get a job. Man, my agent isn't sending me out, man, because it's been a while. I need that SAG commercial or whatever. You carry that energy with you into the audition room. You carry that energy with you into interactions with other human beings, and it's not a good look. It's not a good look for anybody. So the thing about it is, there's no shame around having a different, really viable way to support yourself and to have a good quality of life at whatever level you want, right? I live pretty simply, so I can have a great quality of life and not spend a ton of money. Other people need other things. I don't need a sailboat, okay? But you can have a really great quality of life and still do this, okay? But we have this idea. I had this idea too. As soon as I get an agent, I'm going to be going out all the time and I'll just be far too busy. And then you get frustrated because you're sitting by the phone waiting for your agent to call, and then your agent doesn't call because they don't need your type for a while, and then you are freaking out and you're questioning everything about your life. I just don't recommend that, right? Pad yourself well financially so that you're not scared, so that you're not desperate, so that you can do the work that you were meant to do, not work that you have to do because you got to pay the bills. Okay? All right, I'm going to stop lecturing. I am going to look at questions. Ellie chimes in and says, Glendale is where it's at. Lots of animation studios there too for voice acting work. Yes, voice acting work. That's a whole other story. Mike Fleming. Okay, thanks, Mike, for the thumbs up. Yeah, it's true. He says, such strong advice really for everyone in any industry. My friend Mike runs an online magazine, supports himself in Georgia, and he's been a writer forever and a day. And now he runs this magazine and wears many hats while he runs that magazine. And but I got to tell you, and I know Mike would agree with me because I've been to his house, and it's a really cute house. Nothing can replace sound financial peace of mind, right? And here's the other thing. And I recommend that you all go and get the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, because she talks about this very thing. When you put pressure on your creativity to support you, you can and probably will crush it, because you have an unreasonable expectation of what creativity is supposed to provide for you. Okay. And so she talks about a ritual she did when she was like 14, where she like lit a candle and, you know, said some woo-woo stuff, basically promising her writing that she would never expect it to support her, that she would support the two of them. So she did a lot of bridge jobs to support her creativity and protect it as its own, like she calls it your genius, like your genie, right? The thing that is special and that inspires you, and it's the thing that only you can express, to protect that so that she wouldn't kill it. Because our creativity can be very delicate, and it can be very elusive, and we can smother it pretty easily. So this is another reason to get your financial ducks in a row and create the heart and mind space to create what you want to create, and not smother it with desperation. All right, I'm looking, I don't see questions in the comments. And although I love speaking this monologue for 20 minutes as if I'm on TV, it's really for you. It's to answer your questions. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I feel a little bit like Miranda Hart. Anyway, y'all, if that's all your questions, I'm going to take one more look in the comments. Boop. Okay. I don't see any more questions, y'all. So anyway, stay safe, stay creative, try to keep an open heart. I know there's so much going on right now, but protect who you are as an artist, and just guard it so that you can create another day. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I offer lots of free advice and videos. Also, if you go to my website, www.sarahgaston.com, you can subscribe to my email list. And as I state, I put some things on my email list that you can't get anywhere else. Sometimes it's articles that I've read about the business that I want to share. Sometimes it's just an essay about something I think would be helpful that you guys probably would like to know. Sometimes it's audition information. If I find out about an audition that's happening locally or nationally that I just want to share with my peeps. I'm pretty well connected, so people come to me not infrequently saying, hey, I need somebody for this job. Can you help me out? Because I have a lot of students that I teach. So anyway, thank you guys so much, and take care. All right. Love you guys.